All right, thank you. So, I want to welcome everybody to this amazing training, amazing webinar titled Becoming 21st Century Researcher. And this is organized by Grace and Research Institute. As people are coming on, I want us to be muting our mics. I think they are all muted already. And then thank you everybody for sending your name, your greetings. Okay. I'm looking at some people here. Thank you, Mr. Ibai Frederick Basi from Cameroon, Mr. Lukokate from Ekiti State, Bayelsa State, Mr. Odotimi. Thank you for connecting tonight or this evening. I don't know the time zone at your side. So I will share my screen now so that we can follow. We have limited time this morning. Sorry, this evening. Okay, so we are gathered here today to discuss becoming a 21st century researcher. And I hope everybody here, we are happy to be part of this webinar. And I hope our notes are with us. You have your biro, you have your notepad, because it's going to be a very interesting class this evening, a packed class this evening. And I believe that after this webinar, all of us, we are going to have a very good things to say about Grace and Research Institute. Well, this is the institute organizing this, this webinar. Okay, sorry, this institute organizing the webinar. And one of the reasons why this webinar is coming up at this time, this is the ending of the year weekends. Okay, this is the ending of the year weekends. And then I want everybody to start 2025 on a very good note. A lot of people have come to my site that they want to become a researcher. How can they become a researcher? All right, becoming a researcher is not by mouth. There's a process to it. And that is why we are having this kind of webinar, so that you can know the things you need to do. 2025 is already coming. In the next 1 week, we're in 2025. And I want everybody to be on their toes. By the time you enter 2025, you know the things that you need to master, okay, to become what you want to become as a researcher, and not just a localized researcher. I mean a global phenomenon researcher. Okay, so many people that will be coming to two speakers that we have for this webinar. They are international researchers. I can tell you that. All right, they are global researchers, and they are bringing their knowledge to us. Okay, they are bringing their knowledge to us. So please, I don't want us to despise this webinar. A lot of people will still join this this meeting. We are only 44 here, and on the WhatsApp group, we are close to 250. So I believe others will still join us. And this webinar is being recorded. Though I'm not sure yet. I don't know yet if I will be available. Okay, but let's see how it goes. So my name is Adewi David Oluwabi, that's my name, and I'm the founder of Grace and Research Institute. I'm the organizer of this webinar, and I will be our first speaker this evening. I'll be our first speaker this evening. So if you are ready, I'm ready. Okay. Let's start. I will share my screen. Okay. I don't know if you are seeing my screen. Can you wave your hand? Just signify if you can see my screen. Just signify if you can see my screen. Or I can see some of my staffs are here. Fantastic. If you can see my screen, signify. Okay, if you can hear me, signify. So if you can hear me now, please signify. All right. I think my volume is now loud enough for everybody to hear me. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we have 3 speakers this evening. I'm the first. 2 other people will join me after this session. All right. So let's start. Becoming a 21st century researcher. Now, who is a researcher? This is the first thing that we need to deal with this evening. Who is actually a researcher? If you don't know who a researcher is, you cannot become a 21st century researcher. Now, a researcher is a professional who studies a topic in details to discover new information, solve problems, and predict trends. That's a researcher. A researcher is an information professional who uses research methodologies to gather data, analyze that data, and present their findings. Researchers focus on using their discovery to solve problems, address issues, and predict trends in a specific field. The fact is that a researcher is someone that sees a problem and goes all out to solve the problem. Okay, of course, there are technicalities you have to put in place to solve the problem, but a researcher sees a problem and goes out to solve the problem. Imagine when we had COVID-19 in the world, that was 2020, 2021, sorry, 2019, 2020. I can tell you that is when the world knows the value of a researcher. Okay, researchers put themselves out to solve that pandemic. They went out, scientific researchers, they went out to carry out experiments to provide a solution to that pandemic. So researchers are people that sees problem and then they identify the problem, go all out to solve the problem. Of course, they now put it in a report. Okay, they put it in a report. So researchers collect, organize, analyze, and interpret data, opinions to explore issues, solve problem, and predict trend. And do what? And predict trend. I don't know if you are familiar with cryptocurrency and all this forex trade. Okay, some of these people, organizations, taking researchers, data analysts, to predict trend of in cryptocurrency. Are you following me? So to be a researcher is not something that is simple. It's a very broad field. It's a very broad field, and you have to widen your mindset and your mentality. Don't limit yourself to a school, to a class or something. No, researchers are valuable in the world. Okay, they are valuable in the world. You just know the button to press. You just know the button to press. You know, there's a medical doctor that I know. He's actually a pastor. Okay, and he finished. I think he finished in 2012, 2013. And instead of him going for houseman, you know, housemanship, most doctors go for housemanship. Instead of him going for housemanship, he went into research. I usually tell people there's no field that research is not valuable. There is a research aspect to every field. So he went to the research aspect of medical field, okay, and pursue that aspect. Currently now, he's working with WHO. Okay, he has been to close to, I can tell you, close to 15 countries. Okay, close to 15 countries. By 2017, 2018, he was living in Canada. Okay, was living in Canada. But WHO needed a medical researcher, and he is one. So there's a research field applied to all other fields. So please, don't limit yourself. So who qualifies as a researcher? Who qualifies as a researcher? The most common journey is through taking a research degree, the highest level of which is a doctoral degree or doctorate, often offered to as a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. It takes you through intensive and focused learning. That's the fastest way to become a researcher. All right, you go to school, you have your master's, and you have your PhD. That's the fastest way to become a researcher. Of course, there are other ways you can become a researcher, but this is the fastest way to become a researcher. Okay. Now, sorry, I'm coming. So in continuation to who qualified as a researcher, you can aim to be a research professional. Please, I think some people are just joining the WhatsApp page and they don't have access to the Zoom link. Let me quickly repost it. Just give me a few minutes. Come in. Come in. All right. So let's continue. So we are at who qualify as a researcher. You can aim to be a research professional in an academic context. You know, we talked about that already. Working, for example, in a university. In fact, that is the smoothest way. Or you can work within an industries that employs researchers, whether that be medical research, clinical research, or the work of political institutions or museums. Okay, you know, all these people that carry out experiment, carry out research on business and some other things, they are also called researchers. Researchers are not only people that write thesis. Okay, no. If I have somebody that has contracts, all right, from international, from UK, from US, they want to do something in Nigeria, and they call him. He's a professor. Sorry, a professor to be. So it's currently an associate professor. They called him that he should do a survey in Nigeria, okay, on how they can actually implement this thing in Nigeria. You should carry out the survey. Of course, he's a researcher. So the research knowledge kicks in. How can I carry out a survey in Nigeria? So they went around all the states last year. They went around all the states last year carrying out that survey. Okay, you know, sometimes we call it market research. So immediately after they finished carrying out the survey, he put up the proposal, the cost analysis and everything, and sent it to them. Of course, as a researcher, after the survey, after you've analyzed all the data, you can now tell them these states, these are the 3 states we feel like you can set up your business. And these are the kind of profits you are going to have in this state. This is the reason why you need to set up in this community or in this state, because of people that are in need of your services and some other things. You understand? Everything was carried out through a survey. And he was able to do that because he's a researcher. He's a researcher. So don't limit yourself to writing of project alone. If you are here and the only thing you do is writing projects, research is more than that. So research offers a diverse, rewarding, and inspiring career. It welcomes people from all walks of life. There is no type or background or innate talent. The skill required can all be patiently learned, and it's never too late. You are never too late to be a researcher. I've already informed us how valuable we are to the world. And you are never too late to be a researcher, no matter the field you are coming from. I learned, okay, let me say, I entered research field as a part 2 student. My boss is speaking tonight. I entered research field as a part 2 student. So you can enter the field at any point. Of course, if you're a PhD holder, I can tell you, you have an higher level of entry already. Okay? But you can enter at any point, and you can start from, I don't know, you can just start up like that. Okay? So let's look at becoming a 21st century researcher. We've dealt with who a researcher is. Now, becoming a 21st century researcher. To succeed in this dynamic environment, researchers must develop a distinct skills, competencies, and mindset. They must adept at navigating diverse sources, leveraging cutting-edge methodologies, and collaborating across disciplines and borders. Across disciplines and borders. What are disciplines? fields. All right, medical, philosophy, social sciences, public health, agric, economics, politics, fields, research cut across all fields. Moreover, they must be equipped to communicate complex findings to diverse audiences. Let me tell you something, this part is a critical part in becoming a 21st century researcher. Must be equipped to communicate complex findings to diverse audiences, contribute to evidence-based decision-making, and address pressing issue of our time. I was talking to my brother. He's not in Nigeria, he's based outside Nigeria. And he told me, he said, David, papers you'll be publishing next, make sure it's based on sustainability. He said, currently now in US and UK, they are looking at how things they are doing, how they'll be sustainable. So most of the research coming out from US and UK is dealing with sustainability. Okay. And also he said, also focus your papers and some other things, focus it on global economy, global recessions, because that's what the world is going through now. A 21st century researcher, you have to be up to date. You have to be up to date, and you have to see the problem in the world, and then you start tackling them. That's a 21st century researcher. Becoming a 21st century researcher requires a combination of skills, knowledge, and mindset. Yes, here are the step-by-step guide to help you get started. So I'll just quickly list them, and then the other speakers can start coming up to speak with us. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. I will share my contact after. So characteristics of a 21st century researcher. Characteristics of a 21st century researcher. I hope you are ready for this. Okay. Building research skills. Building up research skills. These are people that they have these skills with them. Let me tell you something. You don't have to have all the skills. You just have to have the most valuable skills with you. Okay. And it takes time to build skills. Let me tell you something. It takes time. Building research skills. First one, literature review and synthesis. Developing skills to critically evaluate and synthesize existing literature review. One of the things that a 21st century researcher should have is how to develop a research gap, how to find a research gap. And you can't do that if you don't know how to review literatures. So if you are learning, if you are trying to get skills in research, you should know the things that you need to work on. Of course, you can't learn it in one day, but literature review and synthesis is one of the most important parts, okay, in becoming a 21st century researcher. Okay, the second one is research designs and methodology. Familiarize yourself with various research designs, methods, and tools such as surveys, interview, data analysis softwares. It's very important. In fact, one of the first criteria of becoming a 21st century researcher, all right, that you want to be employed by top organizations is softwares mastering. You must list out the softwares that you have to master, and you must master them. If you have not started mastering softwares in research, or let me say in data analysis, you are not ready to become a 21st century researcher. Are you following me? And we have a lot of softwares. A lot of softwares. In fact, to be a 21st century researcher, you have to be a very good data analyst. Don't just be, you see, research is combination of writing and analysis. These two together. Of course, you can't carry out analysis without not collecting data, going out, carrying out an experiment. But research is actually writing and carrying out and doing analysis. Are you following me? In writing, of course, you must know how to put your reports together. In analysis, you have to go and learn it. And we have a lot of softwares in that. Methodology is one of the important parts of a 21st century researcher. Okay, you have to know that. The next one is data management analysis. Learn to collect, manage, analyze data using various tools and techniques. You have to learn it, how to use Google, how to use Google Form. Okay, how to use Google Form, how to use Google Sheets. Those are like the beginner class. Okay, so those are the things that you need to master: how to use SPSS, how to use Stata, how to use eView, how to use Maxdata, how to use how do you do qualitative analysis? A lot of software you need to master. Okay, and there are a lot of things that we use to collect data in the field. Okay, you have to master them too. Academic writing and publishing. Develop skills to write and publish research papers in academic journals. You know, somebody told me recently, a friend is working with a company, and the boss, the owner of the company, called her and gave her a research work to do. And then she should write a report and submit. And then she put something together that got the the owner of the company angry and said, didn't you go to school? You went to school. You wrote your project. I told you to do these findings, just do the findings and bring up something and come and submit. Of course, it's a research. You just go online, download some journals, go through it, put some findings together, do some, you have to do analysis from what I was told. But come and submit your reports. She could not do anything. You understand? And then the person was complaining to me. I told her, I said, that person, that girl or that lady should go and learn research. She go and learn research. Of course, she was complaining that this is not what they employed her for. But the fact is that if you want to get promotion, most of the things that will qualify you is not what they employ you for. That's just a fact. That's just the fact. So I told her, I said, tell her to go and take a course on research, and tell the boss that, sir, I've started taking courses on research because I want to be good in this field that you just told me to, all right, to enter. So please, academic writing and publishing is very important. Develop core competencies, interdisciplinary thinking, engage with researchers from different diverse fields to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing. All right, engage with other researchers. Digital literacy, familiarize yourself with digital tools, technologies, methodologies such as data analysis software, programming languages, digital collaboration platforms. All right, please, you have to update your skill. Communication and dissemination, develop skills to effectively share research findings through various channels, including academic publications, social media, and public engagement. You can't be a good 21st century researcher and you say you don't know how to use social media. You know, it's annoying me when people say that I'm not a social media person. I say you are not ready for life. That's just it. You'll be a localized researcher. Even if you're not a researcher, you'll be a localized person. One of the ways the globe can know you, the world can know you, is through social media. A 21st century researcher gets on Facebook, gets on Instagram, gets on Twitter to do things. Are you following me? In fact, on TikTok, you invade TikTok as a researcher. Get the value that is in you, get it out. So when you say you are not a social media person, you are not ready to become a 21st century researcher. I'm just telling you the facts. You are not ready. It takes me time to also get all these things done. I'm telling you, it takes me a lot of time. I have to call somebody that is a digital marketer. I say, come and teach me, come and equip me. What are the things I need to do for Grace Hand to emerge from Nigeria to the globe? And thank God we moved across countries now. But I needed to subscribe to a lot of things. So next one is collaboration and teamwork. Cultivate ability to work effectively with diverse stakeholders, including academics, industry partners, and community members. All right, you have to get yourself out there. I'll also be rounding up. Benefit of the webinar. All right, you have to know what you want to get from this webinar. And some of us have sent our questions when we are filling the Google form. By tomorrow, the questions will be answered. And if they are not answered tomorrow because of the time schedule, Monday is going to be answered on Monday. Okay, so this webinar might be a 3 days webinar if we cannot answer those questions, but we are going to answer those questions. Yes, we are going to answer those questions. How to translate from academy into research world. That's one of the benefits of this webinar. A lot of people have contacted me on, please, I'm a PhD holder. This is how much I'm collecting. I want to become a researcher. I want to up my game. This is the webinar for you. If you know anybody like that, is not here, contact the person. This is your webinar. How to be, you are academic person for 10 years. Okay. This is from this webinar, you will know how to translate your academic knowledge into research world. The skills required to become a researcher. Okay. The skills required to become a researcher so that you can have a career path. Turning your research knowledge skill into wealth. A lot have research knowledge. A lot of us, we know research. All right, we are good, but money is not coming out of it. How do you do that? How do you turn your research knowledge into wealth? In fact, in February next year, there will be another webinar, research and digital marketing, their collaboration. Okay, I'll be doing the webinar in February. Okay, you have a research skill. How do you manage digital marketing with it? So I'll be bringing up my digital marketer to talk to us in February. So if I forget, remind me. I'm saying that now. So this webinar, we are going to deal with that. How to become a recognized research assistant. We are going to deal with that. Okay. Lastly, top job opportunities available for a 21st century researcher. At least these last 2 points will motivate, or these last 3 points will motivate you to become a researcher. Okay, because I tell people, I say, if you want to learn the skill, ask for the, how will I make money from this skill before I start learning it? Okay, if they tell you, you can't make money, they don't learn it. Okay, I can tell you, research, there's money in research. I'm currently working with a professor in Obafemi Awolowo University, one of the reputable universities in Nigeria. Okay, actually analyzing their data. And she told me this data set was collected with Yeah, sorry, that was my network. So let's continue. So if you say there's no money in research, then you've not met people. Your mindset must change from this webinar. You've not met people. The people you relate with will affect your mentality, and will affect how you can up your game as a researcher. If you are listening to people that are localized, I'm telling you, you cannot up your game, but you will be seeing your surrounding. So immediately she told me, said, this data set, this amount spent on this data set, I want to analyze it. I want to publish 2 papers from it. Okay. The person that sent data to her, I mean, these people are top people. So there's money in research. You just have to start somewhere, and then you start climbing, start climbing, start climbing, start climbing. And lastly, I will tell you, you need to have a mentor. That's just it. Somebody to stay by you and mentor you and pace you. I'm telling you, you cannot relent. There is still so much to cover. You cannot relent. There's still so much to cover. There are things you need to do. And I have those people in my life. When I look at them, I feel like this is how I want to. They too are still pursuing things. And I feel like these people are still working this hard. Then I cannot relent to. I cannot relent to. So there's money in research. Okay. So I believe after this webinar, we all have a well-planned career path in research and skills to master in 2025. So we can become a recognized researcher globally. Okay. Thank you, everybody. So I remain my humble self. I call myself Mr. David Adewi. So thank you. So, and please, if you have questions, you can keep sending your questions. We may not address your questions today, but we are going to address it later. Okay. And I believe our second speaker is ready for us. I don't know if he's ready. Professor, our prof. Please, if you're online, sir, can you? So I'm coming. Let me see if people can unmute themselves. Prof, sir, please, are you with us, sir? Prof, sir, are you with us, sir? Okay. He told me he needed to do something. So I want to be sure that he's connected to us now. Okay. If it's not, my boss, I call him Dr. Ido. Are you with us, sir?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Is it possible for you to come up with a session now before Prof? Okay, Prof is coming. Hold on, let me see if Prof is available. All right, Mr. Do, please, we are coming up. He is still engaged.
All right, thank you very much. Please, can you confirm how long I have?
Yes, I will chat you up on that. So I
All
will
right,
make you the host. I will make you the host now so that you can share your screen, sir.
all right, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you
Good
very
evening,
much for the
sir.
opportunity, sir. I do not take it for granted in any way. So, I'll be sharing my screen shortly, and I believe that is going to make a lot of meaning to you eventually. Okay, so a few seconds and we'll be on. All right. Okay. Is uploading and voila. All right. So let me share my screen. So Mr. David, you may need to stop sharing your screen before I can share. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Minutes.
Mr. Do, please,
Yeah.
you still, I'm coming. I want to make you the host. Just give me some few seconds.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you are host now, so you can share your screen with us and then you can start, sir.
All right. Please, I would like to confirm that people can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, everybody, once again. Good evening, Mr. David. Thank you for the opportunity to make this presentation. It's surprisingly an interesting presentation for me because why was it interesting? I was just wondering what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, but I think I've been able to put a few things together. So let's just follow the journey as we go. So let me check how long I have to do this so that I can be able to make a proper presentation. So, Mr. David, I'm waiting for your message on how long.
Yes, I'm messaging you now, sir.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. It is well noted. All right. So, okay. So, thank you very much again, Mr. David, for allowing me to take this presentation. And when I first got this topic, I've been wondering, what am I going to say? Please, my name is Mr. Idowu Omishile, so I'm not prof yet. To the person that's getting prof. Thank you very much. So I was wondering, what am I going to say and how will I say it? So I said, okay, first let me tell you about myself briefly, then I'll go in to make my presentation. I have a little amount of time to spend here. So my name is Idowu Mishile. I'm studying PhD. I should have finished the thing, but we thank God for His mercies. Business is is doing its own thing, but we thank God we are making progress. So I've been working in research, planning, analysis, and consulting for more than 10 years,
Business.
including health research, developmental intervention, behavioral sciences, and management. And I found out that I'm a natural teacher, and it's easy for me to explain difficult terminologies in simple words. I just found it out over time, like that. So my background, like I said, I have a BSc, MSc, PhD, all in psychology. I'm a QP and Atlas T professional trainer. My profile is outside. Member of the Nigerian School of Management and the Nigerian Association of Industrial and Organizational Psychologists. I've handled several studies in several locations across Nigeria, and data collection outside Nigeria. And I have skills in quantitative and qualitative research methods, data collection, and analysis, and technical report writing. I've trained over 1,000 trainees in more than 20 workshops and trainings, and I have strong experience in developing and delivering customized training programs. So these are my contact details, my phone number, email, LinkedIn. Just search for Duomishile on LinkedIn, you'll find me there, and my Twitter handle. So back to the topic. How do you describe a global um, level skilled researcher? So I was wondering, okay, what will I say? So I said that instead of just talking story, let me show you examples. Like, who are people that are living this kind of life? So if you know the people that then, if you know people that are in this kind of situation, that are wearing this kind of shoes, probably to help you to be able to relate very well with what you're trying to say. Professor Morenike Upong, for example, she's a legend. She's a distinguished professor of pediatric dentistry at Obafemi Awolowo University, celebrated as an exceptional academic and she's celebrated for exceptional academic and research excellence. She's among the top 2% global researchers according to Stanford University. I don't know if you know what I mean by top 2%. If we have, she's like at the top of the food chain in the area of research. She has published 6 books, written over 420 articles with over 30,000 citations. This, for example, is the picture of our ranking. Those are academics will be able to appreciate it better. I'll forgive the rest of you if you don't really value these figures, but they mean a lot. These are you can see 2000 age index 9 and x 16. Uh, from 10 years. Last year, Upon Keliko, how to Upon tell something. And she the recent article she has 2024. Just for her, uh, right. Please confirm what are you seeing on your screen at the moment? I'm trying to.
Your ranking. Morenike
Okay,
Olatoyi for
and
your
there's
rankings.
an issue because I've left that page. I've left the page, so I'm trying to follow.
Yeah, your voice is cracking, sir.
So I'm going to reshare my screen because what you are seeing is not where I was. I think I've made. All right, a moment, please. Yes. So you can see
Okay.
our Google rankings. If somebody said my voice is cracking and low, is it really I'm cracking from your side? I think it is.
It's cracking at my end too.
Okay, what should I do? Please, once you can hear me very well, kindly let me know.
Yes,
How do
we
I
can
start?
now. I can hear you
Okay, it's
now.
better now. All right, thank you very much. Apologies. Thank you for the feedback. I'll be on the lookout for them. So, back to the subject matter. What does it mean to have skills as a researcher at a global level? Number one, you have to have global competence. A globally competent researcher is someone who possesses the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes necessary to conduct respectful and rigorous research in diverse contexts. It requires someone who not only has the skill of a researcher, but is also competent enough to make significant impact in different contexts. So let me tell you the truth. A researcher should be able to work in different contexts and should be able to collaborate with people from vastly different fields. You know, I didn't know these things when I started my career, but now I learned it over time and it is so interesting. Maybe I'll tell you some of it today, and tomorrow when I'm talking about the business of research, I'll tell you a lot more. Probably I'll share some personal experience. So you see, research is becoming increasingly globalized, and collaboration is vital for addressing global challenges. So this is usually captured in the word multidisciplinary research. You look at many studies today, you see that they have more than one author. And if you check the fields of those authors, they are usually from different fields. In fact, many journals encourage you to come from different fields because to help you to have different perspectives on the subject matter. So, building on what Mr. Davis said earlier, I just want to tell you something. You don't need to have everything to make it as a researcher. But if you are going to business of researcher, then there's something else entirely. Business of research. This is what you need to have is to have that one thing that you're having, have it and have it very well. Such that even if they are saying that, oh, there's nobody, they need someone that can do this thing. No, everybody will always remember that. If there's nobody on earth, oh, this person can do this thing. Maybe you're in GIS, maybe you're in quantitative research, maybe you're in qualitative research, maybe your own is field data collection, maybe your own is technical report writing, maybe your own is literature review. That one thing you have it very, very, very well and be very strong in it. Now, for example, I'm a psychologist, but most of the papers I've published are not in the field of psychology, they're in the field of health. So I'll tell you more about that later in this seminar. So before I proceed, I want to ask, based on what I've said so far, I want you to discuss now. You are going to comment on this, you respond in the comment section. What do you think will be the needed skills for a person to be a global researcher? Let me get the comments and I'll read it out immediately. The comment. Please give me the comments in the chat. What are the skills you think a person will need to be a global level researcher? Voice is cracking and low. No, that cannot be a
No,
response.
your voice is okay now.
Collaboration skill. Reading wide. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for others. Writing skill, technical and digital skills, communication skill, data analysis skill, IT analytical skills. Let's take more analytical skills, an eye for details, analytical skills, ability to work in diverse fields, analytical skills. You need to be familiar with AI and social media platform navigation, data collection and management, ability to be able to accept and navigate in other fields, gathering skills. I get that with that gathering skills, digital analytics skills. I think the most important skill, questionnaire development and data analysis, extensive literature review skills, data gathering. It's all right. So you can stop. Thank you very much. I'll not read the comments again. So I want to take you through a few of some of the skills you need to be a global level researcher. Before I proceed, let me show you another research, professor of answer researcher, Professor Jacob Olupono. I met him for the first time this year at a conference called Institute for Advanced Studies. I went there, like, what are they even doing? But when I got there and I saw the caliber of researchers there, I was humbled. So this professor is a professor in Harvard University. He's a Nigerian, and it's in the field of religious studies. He teaches African religious traditions at the Harvard Divinity School with a joint appointment as Professor of African and African American Studies in the Faculty of Arts and Sciences in Harvard University. He was elected into the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in April 2023 and is the recipient of the Nigerian National Order of Merit. For context, people like Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, JP Clark are those that collect this kind of order merit. So when I'm talking about, he's not a small professor, he's a big man, and I was so surprised when I met him. So what are the skills you need? Like Mr. David has said, you need research and analytical skills. So number one, you need to be able to think critically. You should question assumptions, analyze data from diverse sources, propose innovative solutions. You need data management skills, knowledge of advanced analysis skills, proficiency in statistical tools, management of large data sets. You need technical expertise, mastery of tools, technologies, and methodologies. But let me just tell you this: it's not everybody that is cut out for mathematics. I am both a quantitative and qualitative researcher, and I found out that people that cannot do that don't like mathematical analysis can still do research. In fact, there's no field of endeavor that they don't do research in. Law, English, health education, biological sciences, social sciences, education, every field. They do research in every field. So because you don't have one particular skill does not mean you cannot do anything. Don't feel like I don't have anything, no, because I don't have this skill. That which you have is good enough if only you will build on it and then establish yourself as an authority in that field. Global collaboration and communication. You should be able to work with researchers from different cultural backgrounds. You are an Ijaw person, you can be able to do research with a Hausa person. You should let go of your bias, because if you don't, you just be limited to do research in your little corner and people will not rate you high because like this one na local player, is not really exposed, right? Collaboration. You should be proficient in collaboration tools like Zoom, Slack, Google Meet, because this if you want to do real research, you will not need to travel out of your house say I have to take flight. It will take you a lot of time. But if you're able to say, okay, let's have a Google Meet now, it will help you to be able to communicate faster. For instance, this year I was going to do a research with a woman in Kenya. I was in a WhatsApp group and she posted that she needed somebody to do something. I said, oh yeah, now let's do it together. And I sent her a message and we were going to work on it, but we had some issues along the line and we had to call it off. But we were communicating. And what did you do? Use WhatsApp Meet, WhatsApp call, Google Meet, and those. So you should be able to use these tools to be able to. You should be able to set up a simple meeting. Not every time. Let me call you. You now place an expensive phone call. Nobody has that time. You should be able to set up meetings. Language proficiency. While English is a global lingua franca, ability to understand additional languages can be beneficial. In fact, very, very beneficial. Several years ago, I set a goal for myself that I'm going to learn 10 languages. People like, why are you learning these things? I said, because I know the platforms I'm going to be playing in. So I started learning. So far, I've sat down with French and Chinese. So I went to Benin Republic and it turned out that they don't understand English there at all. Everybody was speaking French. I was like, God. So the little French I've been trying over the years was what saved me. But eventually, I'm able to read articles in French. I grew up in a francophone country, in an anglophone country. Ability to at least try and teach yourself, even if just download Duolingo. If you are learning 15 minutes every day, you pick up something. So don't just sit down in your little corner and feel everything revolves around you. But remember, you don't need to have everything to succeed. So don't go and strangle yourself if you cannot cope, please. Interdisciplinary knowledge. Research at global level often requires interdisciplinary knowledge, combining engineering with environmental science or policy. Adaptable. You should be adaptable. Willing to learn about other fields outside of your expertise can foster comprehensive solutions. So don't just say, because I studied German, everything has to be German. What if somebody wants to do a research and they want to publish in a German journal? You can put your part by translating into German for them. For instance, you are collaborating. That's what collaboration means. You can say, okay, me, I know that I cannot do statistical analysis, but I know that this German thing, leave it for me. You can now begin to look for collaboration. Everybody that wants to publish in a German journal, you are going to help them to discuss, you can help them to set up the paper, you can help them to translate. You are setting up yourself. Then if they do interview in German, you can translate to English easily. In fact, that area alone, you can sit down on it and build a life on top of it. But while you are doing that, don't sleep on it. Continue to learn new things because the market is shifting fast and you don't want to be left behind. Like the book written by one of the most influential book I've ever read in my life, Brian Tracy. He says it no, Who Moved My Cheese? It's not Brian Tracy. It's called Who Moved My Cheese. And if you go to read any book in life, go and read that book. The book talked about some rats that were eating their cheese. Some of them sat down that, thank God we have found cheese. We are let us tabernacle it. The other was always inspecting the cheese. Is this cheese changing? The day they came back and found that there is no more cheese, those that have been settled down, they were stuck. But the one that has been exercising and expecting knew that something was coming, he was quickly able to move on so that you no get emotionally attached when the market changes. You want to build a skill, you want to learn SPSS. You now realize that 5 years down the line, nobody's using SPSS again because AI is solving everything. You're not like, the world has done me a strong thing. It did not do you a strong thing. The world is changing and you have to live with it. Those that learned typewriting yesterday, of course, typewriter has gone out of business, but your keyboard is always a typewriter, so you can make money with that. Problem solving and innovation skill, global issues focus, your ability to identify research gap and focus on solving global issues such as sustainable development, like Mr. Davis says, sustainability, healthcare, and social inequality. Thank you for those that are talking at the background. You can mute your mic, please. Engineer Sunday, sir, you can help mute your mic. Engineer Dr. Sunday, please, you can help
Okay,
mute your mic.
okay.
Innovative thinking, develop new approaches and novel solutions that can address global challenges. Ethical awareness and integrity. You should understand research ethics, be culturally sensitive, project management skills, ability to write grants and raise funds, time management, and then team leadership. You should have networking engagement skills, technological competence, and continuous learning and adaptability. So now let me go back to all those skills. I know I've spoken a lot, so I'll break them down again. Research and analytical skill. You should have ability to research. You may not be able to do everything, but ability to research is about how to be able to pieces put information together and then come up with a solution. Ability to look at the subject matter and say, what is the new knowledge that I can generate from this thing? That's one skill you need. Data management. You should be able to collect data on that subject matter and then curate it together to generate knowledge. Assuming you realize that you are not strong in data analysis, you can collaborate with somebody that is strong in data analysis, and both of you, the person will become a co-author. You don't have to always say, I have to be the only author in this paper. Only my name should show there. Be coming down. The world will not end. You still have plenty of papers to publish, right? All right. Okay. 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 Thank you very much, Mr. David. I've seen the message. So, technical skills, you have technical skills, have some tools that you know and methodologies that you can work with. Global collaboration, like I said, you should be able to work with other people. If you want to be very relevant in the field of research, you cannot do it alone. You don't have to publish that paper alone. You don't have to write that article alone. You got a major opportunity to work on a topic. Don't say, I must be the only one that must do it. Learn to collaborate. The world will not end if you bring other people in. You can be the first author, they become second author. If the person has more skill than you and maybe like your boss, you may allow him to be the first author. Your time will come when you become a first author. Because they help you to build your profile. And should be learn know how to be able to work with technological tools like Zoom, Slack, and all those stuff. Interdisciplinary knowledge. Because you studied French does not mean you cannot publish a paper in the field of business management. Because even in France they still do business. In francophone countries they do business. So you can still be able to bring your perspective into this subject matter. Problem solving and innovation. You be able to identify research gap, focus on solving global issues such as sustainable development, healthcare, and peace, and be innovative in your thinking, right? Ethical awareness. You should understand and learn to stick to research ethics. See, research ethics is very, very important. Don't take it for granted. There are some courses on research ethics. I'll send the link to Mr. David. My supervisor sent it to me some times ago, and I took the courses and they stood out for me at a critical time recently for one project I was to work on. I want to encourage you to take all the courses and learn them and have a certificate. It will come in for you at the time when you will need them. Cultural sensitivity. You should be able to respect cultural norms and differences while conducting research, because if you want to be a global level researcher, you will do research outside of your community. You should be ready to respect the perspectives of others no matter the situation. Project management skills, your grant writing. See, big research, they don't just call you and say come and do this work for me. If you want to do a global level research, you always have to write a proposal, write a grant, raise fund. If you are able to master these skills, these are skills that will set you up. Even for myself, there are some clients that you work for, they will tell you to go and bring proposal, because for those jobs they don't just say come and analyze data for, they will require you to write a proposal, and then other people come and compete on the same thing. So your ability to write a convincing proposal with a good proposition will help you. So for instance, let me give you an example. There was one organization, I just saw their advert and I sent the proposal. The budget I sent was so ridiculous that they had to invite me for interview. Like, are you sure you can actually do this work with this kind of budget? Because the budget was too small. It was really too small. And yet the amount was bigger than the biggest amount I've ever worked on. The interview, they realized that this person does not have the experience. But they were so like, you had the audacity to send this kind of budget for this kind of work. Like, can you really do it? But I've learned my lesson. Okay, so grant writing. If you don't know how to do it, go and learn. Work with people that are already doing it and observe, ask questions. There's a lady in our office. She said, Oga, I realize you have not been giving me analysis work to do. I don't want to just be doing report cleaning, writing proposal. I want to actually do analysis. I say, ah, you ask for it, you will get it. And I pushed one project work to her. She started cracking her head. I said, that's what you asked for. But eventually she will develop her skill. Time management. Research is about deadline and timeline. You should be able to juggle multiple projects, deadline, and collaborate. If you are working with different collaborators, for instance, the woman I was working with is in Kenya, was in Kenya. Their time zone is totally different from ours. We have to meet either late in the evening or early in the morning. By the time you are just leaving your house 7 a.m., it's already 9 a.m. at their side. So time zone is going to be an issue. But if you want it, you go for it. And research is about deadline. They say this journal sent you correction now. You have to make the corrections and send it back immediately. You have to be able to adjust. You have to juggle multiple projects. If you are working on 3 projects, I will advise you, please avoid taking too many work. I learned that one from hard experience, because if you do that, you will have good mental health. Because if you're able to do, if it is only 5 projects you can work on, and no, it's only one project and you can successfully complete it and publish it, it's better than for you to be here and the quality of your work is poor all around. Team leadership. Sometimes you may need to lead a conversation so that people will be able to turn up on time, because research usually about time management. Sorry, it's about teamwork. Sometimes you need to lead the team so as to ensure that everybody will turn up and get the work done on time. Networking. You should be able to, ability to collaborate involves you being able to network with other people, meet other people, talk with them, and say, oh yeah, now let's work on this topic together. If you cannot do that, you will not collaborate. And like I say again, when you work with others, you will learn a lot of lessons and build your skills better and faster. In fact, it will help you to have more paper published than if you are trying to do it all alone. For instance, one of the things people do is that somebody they will bring people that is somebody that is good in analysis, somebody that is good in writing, somebody that is good in literature science. They will collaborate together and they will get the job done excellently and fantastically. Someone that's good in designing methodology, a person can understand all methodology on earth, can say, oh yeah, this methodology work and yes, it will work. If you want to write a grant, don't just sit down and write the grant on your own. Collaborate with others. Then they can say, okay, let's add this one. By the time you present it, you have a stronger weight before your funders, and you have higher chance of getting it. Don't insist on being the hero of the day. I'll talk about it more tomorrow. Then attend conferences, international conferences, workshop. As much as I'm a data analyst, research consultant, always busy, I always look up for the opportunity to attend conferences, because I learned from experience that that's where you learn to meet people that are better than you, that you are like a dwarf beside them. Like, these people are good though, but to also teach you where to focus your energy and teach you a lot of lessons. Collaborate within your industry, within industry, that's outside of the academia, and public engagement. Communicate your research outcomes to the public and policymakers in ways that can be accessible. You should have technological competence, familiarity with research technologies like AI, machine learning, cloud computing, and things like that are very good for you. For instance, I went for one interview. They asked me a simple question: do I know about Microsoft SharePoint? And I did not know it. I had to tell them, please, I don't know. But like Microsoft SharePoint, the person, it sounded ridiculous. I did not know it, but I actually did not know it, and I did not get the job. But it's better for me to honorably walk away than to go and claim. Of course, I could have said I want to go and learn it, but at that level, because I've seen a lot of peculiar experiences at that level, I just said, this time around, you, I don't know it, you. But if they are giving the opportunity to go and learn it, probably. But there's a point where you can say, okay, I can do this thing, but try and not make things that will get you in trouble. Open science practices, sharing data and publications openly to promote transparency, accessibility, and contribution to knowledge. Continuous learning. In the field of research, knowledge is next. So just make up your mind that I'm going to be a researcher. There's no graduation from this school. For the rest of my life, I go dey learn. I will be learning. So there's no graduation from the school of research. Flexible. Be ready to adapt to changing research environment and emerging technologies. Be very, very flexible. Things are changing fast and they will yet change. You also be ready to change. Like I said, technological competence is very important. So let me give you an example of I thought this thing will show better. Let me see if I can zoom it. So this person wrote on his LinkedIn page, it was today. It says, from Agbado to academia, a political scientist's quest for health equity. So this person is someone that I know personally. What course did he study in school? He studied political science here, a political scientist. Sit up of the screen. He studied political science in school. Okay, thank you, noted. He studied political science. He suddenly now he's working at a hospital. Be like, where did they meet? It's not about what he studied, it's about your ability to innovate. So he said, how could a political scientist make a meaningful difference in the field of public health? Eventually, he did his PhD. What's his PhD? Political economy of universal health coverage for maternal health in Nigeria. See, he just linked politics and health together. He found his way. And he did his PhD, he did his finding, and he has collected his certificate. This is the link. So what I'm trying to point out is that your versatility as a researcher is important. Don't just be tied down to one thing. So there's now a challenge. Who wants to know the challenge? Let me see. Let me get some energy in the chat. Who is curious? SharePoint. SharePoint is just Google SharePoint. What's Microsoft SharePoint and how to use it. There's a challenge, yo. Yeah, let me get from you. Let me see who is interested in learning about the challenge. I'm waiting to see in the chat. There's a challenge, there's a problem, and I need to warn you. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Time is even part of the list of your problem. Time is list of your problem. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so you can stop. It will cost you a lot of things to develop your skill in global research and to be able to make your way in it. Number one, it is time and commitment, like somebody has said. Years of preparations are involved. It involves academic and professional development, advanced degrees, research hours. You sit down hours upon hours, learning, writing. See, oh, only a researcher can tell, only a data analyst can tell, only a researcher can tell you what it takes to publish a single paper. And like I said, lifelong learning. Number two, it will cost you money. Let me just tell you that when I finished my first degree and I knew that I'm going to the field of research, I knew immediately that a BSc degree is not relevant for my field. Nobody will reckon with you. I said MSc immediately, and later I will do my PhD. I knew that with a BSc, you are just joking. Because of course you can be collecting money and doing work, but people will rate you differently. See, there are some studies that if you want to list those that are working on the study, they must not see a BSc holder on those studies. They cannot allow you. It's not be for pride, but because of they will like your level of thinking is still shallow, that you need to come up higher. Then they will be able to commit deep, because
BSc is just like a general degree, but with an MSc you have established yourself as an authority, and they will say that with an MSc you are still coming up. When you get your PhD, for instance, they say, okay, yes, you are now an authority in this field. But it's not everybody that has a PhD. But to MSc, you should still be able to do a lot of work. Money. Number one, money for your education. It will cost you money. You take courses, you take training, certifications, a lot. To take you money. Some of the things to cost you money to do research, publishing in a journal, license, getting buying software, data collection, money. Networking, it will cost you money to also go for conferences, but you should go because the reward is there. That's life of a researcher. Conferences and networking, technology, all these things will cost you money. A woman came to buy a software from our office. I said, this is the cost. She said, can I not pay this? And I said, ma, this is the cost, whether you like it or not. But there was a time we purchased Atlantic software for an organization. It cost more than $400 because our organization helped to acquire the software. Yes, you pay for it, and surprisingly and painfully, the software is only for 1 year license for $400. Like, are you joking? But it's what it is. Personal sacrifice. Research demands often encroach to personal time, requiring sacrifices in social and family life. It's a lot of sacrifice. Mental resilience. Research process can be mentally exhausting, especially when dealing with rejection, failed experiment, extended periods of uncertainty. Relocation. As a researcher, be ready to travel. If you want to do big research, you will travel because opportunity can require you to go to another location. Like Mr. David was telling about the person that has been to plenty countries. The person doesn't like traveling to be an issue. If the person's spouse doesn't mean the person is married, doesn't enjoy the fact that a partner is not always around, to be an issue. So traveling is important. Many researchers have relocated because opportunity is outside their community. Professional effort, you have to acquire skills deliberately. There may be challenges with collaboration, like I said, time zone, cultural demand, adaptability, communication skill, ethical standards. You may need to make some tough decisions in research ethics about whether to cut costs, whether to with the kind of participants to include, whether to follow standard operating procedure, but you cannot sacrifice on this, it can backfire on you. And remember, one of the worst things you want to avoid in research is being publicly shamed. It can terminate your career. So don't do shady deals because it can backfire on you. Opportunity cost. So let me just dwell on this particular part as I round up. Opportunity cost exists in research. The more you get better in research, opportunities will begin to show. It is now then you now decide, what do I want? Because as you are getting better, Google will bring opportunity for you. Harvard University will bring opportunity. Both of them are high paying job. Which one will you choose? Let me see somebody reply. Which one will you choose if you want to build your skill as a researcher? Google bring opportunity for you, Harvard bring opportunity for you, and WHO bring opportunity for you. Which one will you accept and why? Let me get some feedback on that. I'll take one or two or three, then I'll stop. Which one will you accept? And you must you put the reason why. So while I'm waiting for that, let me continue. Further stability in the early stages, you may not be earning a lot of money because compared to your peers, but eventually you will stabilize and you will be glad you made that sacrifice at the beginning. Then there is intellectual pressure. High quality paper requires you can create immense pressure. There's a risk of reputation, like I said. A single ethical lapse or misstep in research can tarnish your hard-earned reputation. So it is important to be vigilant. You don't want somebody to go and publish false data in your name and they now withdraw your paper from your journal and they will publish it publicly. It can ruin all what you have labored all your life to build. So as a researcher, in fact in some studies they will request for your data. They want to run the analysis again. If you do not correct the right data and they found out that you are falsifying data, hey Jesus Christ, that's a problem. Or plagiarism. If you mistakenly plagiarize another person's work and they are publish it and somebody now come forward to claim your work later, see, Mr. David does plagiarism check a lot, me I don't do it. So you don't want to joke with it at all. Your reputation is at a risk. You should guard it like somebody wants to kill you. That's how you should guard your reputation as a researcher. Guard it with your life. So let's see. I'm interested. Please, Mr. David, I would love to have this facilitator's contact. Of no, no, that's not what I asked you to say now, Mr. Frederick, sir. WHO is a word. Everybody say WHO. Why? Reason, career alignment, emerging and reemerging disease related. But those are choosing to see you people are not are mixing it up. So let me tell you the difference between Harvard, Stanford, Stanford, Google, and WHO. If you work with Google, you make a lot of money. You are likely to end up being the head of their research, and like that. And you make a lot of innovative research, will continue to make pumping money to your pocket. But the problem is that there's no career advancement for you. In Google, you'll be working in industry, you'll not be lecturing, you will not be able to publish a lot of paper because most of their information will be intellectual property and they will keep it in-house. Work with Stanford in Stanford University, you'll be a lecturer most likely. You'll be doing a lot of research. In fact, your primary work will be to do research and publish. Whereas in Google, your work will do research that they can apply to develop their products. And in Stanford, your work will be dependent on the number of papers you publish, and then you will get the opportunity to probably become a professor and advance in the field of research in the academia. Whereas working with WHO will require you to be practitioner, you be a practitioner and a researcher at the same time. In Google, you be more of a practitioner. In WHO, you be in between, but in Stanford, you be more of a researcher. WHO, you be working with an organization. The career path there is not taking you from professor to assistant professor. It's from director to chief of clinical. And you can still be allowed to pursue academic career, which also enhance your promotion. Excuse me, enhance your promotion at work. So what I'm saying is that there is alternative career path. Once you have grown to a level, you now have to decide, where do I want to go. I'll talk more about this when I make my presentation tomorrow. So is the cost worth it? Despite this cost, the reward excuse me, are equally significant. Global researchers have the unique privilege of addressing some issues of humanity's pressing challenges, influencing policy and shaping the future. The path is arduous. It may take 10 years, 20 years, but once you have hit it, you don't hit am, bam. It is worth the passion and perseverance. The impact and legacy are worth the investment. I can tell you that. So if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Let me tell you about one other another researcher before I wrap up this class. Professor Adesegun Fatusi is the professor of community medicine and currently the vice chancellor of University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. He had previously worked as director of Institute of Research, director of Tertiary Research, Gottman Institute, New York, and technical advisor. I knew this man is a very, very highly respected researcher. So I'm trying to tell you that there's a face to this, not just something you hear in stories. These are the number of books he has published, citations, and things like that. And this is his Google Scholar profile. See the articles he has published, see the number of people that have read his work, right? So, in conclusion, global research is evolving. As a researcher, you must adapt and be proactive. Cultivate the skills outlined and embrace collaboration to succeed. So, be open to learning and networking to make a global impact. Thank you very much for listening. So, Mr. David,
Wow.
I'm done.
Wow. I hope we gained a lot from that class. I hope we gained a lot from our class. Let me see our response at the comment section. That was fantastic. Thank you, sir, for joining us at the webinar, and thank you for this wealth of knowledge you just shared with us. I gained a lot myself. My 2025 is going to be fantastic. I'm serious. There's a lot to do in 2025. Even me myself, I renew my collaboration with you. I want to renew my collaboration with you, sir. All right, thank you very much, sir. Please, is it possible for you to share the documents you used with us? So share it with me. I'll share it on the page. I'll share it on the page. And there's some people that want to connect with you. So share me your contacts. So I'll help you to share it on the page also. Okay, thank you, sir. Please, if you have questions, chat me up with your questions. Okay, because there is a lot going on the comment section and I cannot put all the questions together from comment sections. But I think for my WhatsApp, I can put those questions together for my WhatsApp. So please, you can chat me up. And then Prof, I hope our Prof is ready. I hope we are ready to translate from academics to research world. Okay, I hope we are ready for that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir. So I'll bring up my Prof now. Can we I want to say we should put up our hand and clap. All right, but let us do that. You're welcome, sir. I will make you the host now, sir, so that you can share your screen.
Right.
I'm coming. I will make you the host now, sir. Mm. Okay, make hosts. I'm coming. I want to mute everybody. I don't want. I'm coming, sir. Let me mute on your behalf. All right, you are out, sir.
All right. So I can share my screen.
Yes, you can, sir.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
It's good to be here. I think I should I may have to close the video if you don't mind. Maybe I'll bring up my face again later.
It's okay, sir.
Make sure my screen. So please confirm if you can see.
Yes, we can see your screen now, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Mr. Adewi. I appreciate this honor to be here to talk to researchers. I hope you can hear me clearly, please.
Yes, we can.
All right. So my presentation is titled Translating from Academic to the Research World. So my name is Professor O.M. Adesope. So I will use the next 2 or 3 minutes to talk about myself, because it's actually a networking exercise. So this is the agenda for this evening. This is the brief. And luckily, it's like Mr. Idowu has already said most of what I'm going to say anyway. So I'll just, I'll just recap. It was an exciting one he presented, and I learned some things from there too. So thank you very much. So this is just a brief about me. I'm primarily a professor of agricultural extension. I'm a professor in the Department of Agricultural Extension and Development Studies in the University of Port Harcourt. This is my 30th year in the teaching career. I started my career in the College of Education, at least Omok in River State. Then I moved to Futo in Owerri, and now I'm here in Port Harcourt. I've taught in several other universities, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, as a visiting professor. So you can see a brief on me. I'm here, I'm there, I'm here, and there. So I'm sure you get to know me more after now, for those of you who don't know me already. Just a few quotes here. Most men would rather die than think. Many do. It's unfortunate, these quotes, but I have to put it here. It's a generic statement anyway, so it's not like it applies to any person. But it's trying to portray what some persons may want to see about life. Like I had one Mr. Who was reading out some of the skills. I was talking to somebody, I think a few hours ago, earlier today, and he said, the economy is very bad. I said, well, the economy is bad, so what? Are we not going to move on? My policy is this: we must move on, whether the economy is bad or not. My
Yes,
wife
sir.
goes to the market, comes back, oh, honey, things are very expensive. I say, even my mother those days used to tell my father things were very expensive. Our children will tell their husbands too the same thing. So it's not a new thing. What we should pray for: I'm a Christian and I believe in God. God, open doors for me. So if doors open, definitely I don't have any reason to complain. Public service, we are not well paid as the public service, but that's not why I should be complaining. When there's so much to do, when they say the sky is just one's limit, it's not anybody's limit. Oh. The sky is too wide. It's too wide. So as researchers, as scientists, as academics, we need to keep moving on. There is so much. In fact, this generation is very, very lucky. The digital skills, the digital tools that are available, they are so enormous. Now, another of the, I hope you can still hear me, please.
Yes, we can see you, sir.
Okay, yeah. You can accomplish anything in life, provided that you do not mind who gets the credit. You know, the academic world is one interesting one. I read a lot. I read a lot. I read a lot. I read everything. Now, I'm sure some of you have seen this book, The 48 Laws of Power. You know, Nigerians are very religious people. I think I looked up that book sometime on the internet, and I saw commentaries. Some persons say, oh, this is a book of manipulation. There's this thing I normally see. There are two rules in life when you're in a work environment. Number one, the boss is always right. Number two, refer to number one. What does that suggest? The boss is always right, depending on how you see it. So as long as you don't mind who gets the credit, just move on. There's time for everything. There's time for everything. I'm trying to change somebody. There's time for everything. As an early career, you need to move. You need to build the skills that the previous presenter just talked about. You don't need to be in a hurry. Don't envy anybody. Don't feel too bad, that you're not moving up to expectation. But I'll tell you a lot of things because I'm going to use my personal experience to talk more as I'm really teaching. Now, the next quote says there are going to be times when you can't wait for somebody. Sorry, that's somebody. Now, you are either on the bus or you are off the bus, which simply suggests we should keep moving on. Keep moving on as a researcher. Now, this is who I am, or part of who I am. You can see I have a first degree in agric extension, a master's degree, a PhD. I have a technical teacher certificate in agric science education. I'm a trained teacher, a registered teacher with the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Abuja. I have a certificate in data science. I have a certificate in grant writing. I have a certificate in AI. I have a certificate in creative writing, in content creation, in business analysis, in project design, monitoring, and evaluation. I also have certificate in, the theology. I have a postgraduate diploma in theology, a graduate certificate in School of Disciples, also another form of theology. I have a certificate in Web 2.0. I just graduated last week, Sunday, with a master's degree in data science from Osiri University in the US. I'm currently running a BSc degree in data science in MIVA Open University in Abuja. I'm currently in 200 level in that university. By January, I'll be moving to 300 level. Don't ask me how I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Like I said, I also have a certificate in agri-science education, a technical teacher certificate. I taught in a college of education, so I needed to get that to be a professional teacher. I taught in all of these places, like you have seen. Now, I also belong to all of these professional associations. Now, I started teaching way back 1994. So my salary was barely 3,000 naira. Don't tell me things were better at that time. It's not different from now. Let me just tell you the truth. But I tell you that there was no part of Nigeria in the 90s, we didn't have phones. There was no part of Nigeria I didn't travel to. Every year I publish not less than 3, 4, 5 papers. Then with 3,000 naira. Publication was between 200 and 300 naira. I was traveling, to attend a conference, you spend more money than publishing a journal paper. But there was no year I didn't attend 3 to 4 conferences. It didn't matter to me if I have to borrow money. So I'm an agric extensionist. I joined the Nigerian Society for Animal Production. You can see it there. I joined so many associations. Some of them are not here. Now, that helped me to build a lot, to build my skills, my competence in so many things. I engage with so many persons within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. As the time I started my career, I didn't know where I was heading, but I knew I was going somewhere. And I needed to do all of this. So it didn't matter. All I wanted was knowledge, and I built it. So today I teach I teach students in School of Public Health in my university. I teach students in petroleum economics in my university here. I teach students in international trade and development. So, but I'm an agriculturist. Now I'm a data scientist anyway. What do I teach them? ICT, research methods, statistics, all of that. So let's go into the main business of the day, understanding the research world. Now, from the title of the presentation, translating from academic to research world, what this simply means is the process of taking your knowledge, like I've told you all the many things I've acquired, taking some of those knowledge, some of those skills and approaches which I have learned, which you have learned, which you will be learning. Oh, Gloria. Oh, sorry. Somebody just called me and cut me off. Oh, no. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Oh, somebody called me and they didn't. I can't see my screen again. Okay. Yeah. All right. So all of those skills that you have learned or that you are learning as a researcher, an early career researcher, a mid-career researcher, a senior researcher, whatever, how do you apply them to practical research endeavors, often outside the strict confines of academia? Now, I just, about 4 years ago, I started a research on something called black soldier fly. I don't know if you've heard about it before. Black soldier fly is a white fly. It's harmless. It doesn't carry disease, just like the house fly. But the black soldier fly is a very interesting fly. It can help. It can help to manage the environment. Can help to remove that pollution, those smell around us. It's a very interesting fly. It can also serve as live feeds to livestock, to your fish, your chicken, your poultry, and all. Now, I started researching it about in fact, during the strike, I did a lot of things. I was learning German, I was learning my Python then and all of that until now. Now, just at the back of my house, I've put the black soda fly there. I'm an agricultural extensionist. I need to acquire knowledge that I will translate to those at the grassroots. It's an insect. So in the field of agriculture, that could be called, I think, entomology. Yes, that field of agriculture or endeavor is entomology. But I can talk so much about it. Many years ago, when I joined Nigerian Society for Animal Production, I also learned how to domesticate snails. When I used to teach in Futo, I did a lot of trainings on how to domesticate snails. I produce plantain wine. I produce high quality cassava flour to make snacks, chin chin, and all of that. That's the kind of researcher that I am. So I pick the knowledge, I pick the skills, and I translate it into real life endeavor. So I'm working towards patenting most of these things now. So those are the things we expect researchers to be doing, especially early career and mid-career researchers. Now, research, like we know, is a systematic and rigorous process of inquiry that aims to discover new knowledge, explore existing knowledge, or even solve a specific one. Like I just told you about my black soda fly. That's my latest research. I just constructed a cage at the back of my house, and I'm trying to put up a pond there. We are treating the pond now. By next week, I'll stock it so that I can feed my fish with the black soda fly. So when I bring people to train, I show them what I have been talking about. Research is a series of steps, which includes formulating a research question, you collect your data, you analyze your data, and then you draw your conclusions. But a warning, for you to succeed as a researcher, you must be enterprising. You must be enterprising. There are three major domains of learning: the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor domain. You must bring those three domains of learning to bear. The cognitive domain has to do with your understanding, your ability to learn, to comprehend things. The affective domain, it has to do with your feelings about what you are learning. You need to show interest. You need to like what you are doing. And eventually, the psychomotor domain, your hands-on, your skills, what you put into practice. Like I had when Mr. Doe was presenting, he talked about analytical skills. These are critical skills. It doesn't matter whether you're in the humanities, the social sciences, the engineering sciences, you need to be analytic. Critical thinking is part of the skills a great researcher should have. Well, basically, there are two general types. There are other types of research, but these are the commonest one. We look at the basic research and then the applied research. Whereas the basic is the foundation, the applied is where you need to bring what you have learned into the real world. You want to solve problems. You want to address specific challenges in the world. Like I told you about my black soda fly. I've been talking about it, but now I'm practicing what I have learned and I'm bringing it into real life situation. So the other time NTA came to interview me on that, and I told them what we could do with it. So I'm trying to reach out to as many farmers as possible that will have need for this. Now, the research ecosystem encompasses various entities and organizations that contribute to the advancement of research. And such ecosystem will include key players like the universities, which are actually centers of higher learning, which also include centers of excellence that build the future, and we are the future. For us to become the great scientists and the great researcher in the 21st century, we need to really build our capacity. And you can get this done in the higher educational institutions, just like the universities, the polytechnics, and the colleges of education, colleges of technologies, and so on and so forth. Then we also have research institutions where focus is on specific research areas like agricultural researches, medical researches, and so on and so forth. So we have places like IIT in Ibadan, National Root Crops Research Institute in Umudike, and Neoma in Lagos. So all of these, some of these are research institutions that have specific mandates to carry out specific researches. Another one is the government agencies. These help to regulate researches, they help to fund researches. An example of agencies like this, we have the TED Fund that has mandate to fund researches in tertiary higher educational institutions. We have Institute of Health, we have the National Science Foundation, and then we have the industry. Without the industry, research and development will just be empty. So the industry will help to drive the innovations that we try to produce in the universities, in the research institutions. They help to create new products. You know, if you want your product to really make sense, you need to work with those in the industries. Now, I had an invitation recently. You know, way back 1999, I started working on cassava. And I know I started producing high quality cassava flour in 1999, way back, specifically, I think up to 2004. And I established something, produced a lot of those cassava flour. I did a lot to try to encourage women and youths. See, there's an alternative to wheat. We import wheat from, you all know, we import wheat from foreign countries. But we have cassava, we have cocoyam, we have sweet potato. We can serve as alternatives. Like if you go to the northern part of Nigeria, we have the Lake Charge Research Institute. And in that institute, they have mandate to use cereals like maize, guinea corn, and other cereals to produce a lot. Even our maize can be used to produce flour, which we can use in making snacks like bread. You know, one reason why people resist change is habit. Oh, because we are so used to it. So when the high quality cassava flour was used during the Jonathan era to make bread, some persons were wondering, this cassava, why should we be using cassava? The people started looking for faults, obviously because we have it so much in abundance. So obviously because we are very used to wheat in making bread, which we import. But you see, we need to look inward if we want our nation to grow. And this is where the researcher comes in. The 21st century researcher has a lot. There's so much that we can do in the research terrain in contemporary times. Now, the research process involves you identifying a research question. Like I said before, it doesn't matter whether you are in the humanities or in the engineering sciences or applied sciences. You know, I think there was something I sent out, and somebody in the humanities said, what about those of them that are not scientists? So I started wondering, who is a scientist? A scientist is not somebody in the sciences, a researcher. I think that's a loose word we should use, a researcher. So if you're a scientist, what does it involve? Observation, going through certain processes, and then you draw conclusions. Whether you're in the medical sciences, whether you're in the humanities, whether you're in law, you still go through this rigorous process. So first, you must identify a problem, either through critical analysis, through systematic review analysis, whatever way you identify the problem, you are going to analyze that problem. You go through the process of conducting some literature, doing rigorous desk research, doing rigorous systematic review, And then you develop a methodology, depending on which your field is. At the end of that, you may collect some data, analyze this data. It doesn't matter whether you're using qualitative research or using quantitative research. You analyze some research somehow, some data somehow. At the end of the day, we interpret our results and then publish our findings. So the research process cuts through these 7 processes we have looked at, which is not actually cast in stone. Then key skills for researchers, which Mr. Edowu had mentioned before. We have the critical thinking and problem solving skills. So the ability to analyze information. You know, I was so excited when I started my journey into data science. And we took courses in mathematics like sets, logic, probability. You will realize that as a data scientist, logic, critical thinking must come into your reasoning. Because for you to go through certain algorithms, for you to finally get a conclusion, there's a task, there's a process of thinking that you must go through before you draw your conclusions. So critical thinking is a useful skill. Problem solving is a useful skill for the 21st century researcher. Data analysis and interpretation. So data analysis does not necessarily mean quantitative data analysis. Like I saw in Mr. Idowu's profile, it's also into qualitative, just like it's into quantitative. I think every researcher should blend between mixed methods, the qualitative and the quantitative. I also teach qualitative research. I use atlas.ti, NVivo, QDA Miner. Those are qualitative. In fact, there was a presentation we went in the midst of pure scientists, and they said, how can somebody be using qualitative? That's no research. So some people feel only quantitative research is research, and that's not correct. It's not correct. In the contemporary times, multidisciplinary research is what makes the world go round. So scientific writing and communication is also very useful skill for researchers. Managing your time and planning effectively, prioritizing your skills. In fact, in January, I'm going to take a course in Primavera. I know a little about Microsoft project. In 2013, yes, between 2013 and 2017, we got a grant of almost 500,000 euro. We were 5 different countries. I represented Nigeria. And as part of our project management, we're manually drawing up a work plan. And I remember that I know I could use MS Project. And when I noticed the drudgery in manually doing the stuff, I said, there's a software I can use here. And that was how I developed the entire 47-month project with MS Project. It's a software. And later, there's a place I normally go to learn how to use some of these things. They said there's another one called Primavera, and I quickly started learning that, even though I didn't complete it. But I just saw an advert recently, and in January, I'm going to go into that course. I have the CD, I have the book, and I really started learning about it. So these are skills that you must learn. Don't see it as a particular skill for only sciences or those in the humanities. You need to be vast if you want to survive the 21st century research landscape. So project management is part of the skill that you must have ability to apply. We recently got a grant, which will kick off in January. I'm an agric extensionist. My partners are in sociology. Somebody is in film studies. My UK partner is in logistics. So we have people from different fields. We're trying to develop a policy on gender equality. So is that one pure science? It's research. So multidisciplinary skills are very essential for us in the 21st century. So if you have all of these skills, I'm actually the project manager of the particular project that we are doing. So I have to manage people, manage resources, and all of that. So I've acquired these skills over the years, and it makes it easy. Collaboration and teamwork, we cannot overemphasize this fact. Saido also talked about this. You need to learn the collaborative spirit. Teamwork, we must work with people. We must build ourselves. The first time I traveled abroad, I had to borrow money to travel abroad. I spent a lot to go do that. But I wanted to launch out because I felt I had done enough in Nigeria. It's now time to launch out. I knew when it was time. And then I went for my international passport. A few years later, I saw an advert, I applied for it. They waived my registration fee of $405, but I paid $130,000 naira to travel to my ticket. And then my salary was just 80,000 that time. But I traveled, I risked it, and it paid off because I planned that with this, I'm going to open a dragnet of connections, a dragnet of collaboration. And immediately I got there, I made sure I connected with as many researchers as here I am today. I have collaborators across the world. So if I have any project, I know who to call in Kenya, I know who to call in Uganda, I know who to call in the UK, in the US, and so on and so forth. You must build all of this. You must make friends. You must collaborate with people, identify people from different parts of the world and connect with them. Don't only connect with people because you want something from them. Connect and build and sustain relationships. So that leads us to building a research network. You need to build research network so that you can be updated with latest research developments. If you don't have connections with friends across the world in different fields, they don't have to be in your field. Connect with people, be in touch with them, say hello, go onto their LinkedIn page, follow them, even if you don't know them. There's a particular travel grant that comes out every year. I don't know if you know about WARC, West African Research Council. It's under WARA, West African Research Association. Every June, there's a travel grant of $3,000 that comes up every year. And then a travel grant is meant for you to travel. 1,500 is for your economic ticket to and fro. The other 1,500 is for other logistics. But you need to have an invitation from whatever West African country you want to visit, either to visit a library, to visit a museum, or to attend a conference, or to visit I think a hub, an IT hub or something. So, but you must know somebody there. So what I tell my young colleagues is, see, identify somebody. Now, this call comes out I think between March and June. So by now, look for any university in West Africa, University of Ghana, Togo, Benin Republic, and Sierra Leone, and so on and so forth. Connect with somebody. What I do is just go to the site, download somebody's email. With that email, go to Google Scholar. You can easily see somebody's CV easily, or just some information about the person. And then get his email and write him a mail. Tell him, oh, I saw this your paper to the internet. You see one or two papers. Connect with him about a particular paper you are interested in. Could you send me a copy of that and be in touch? That way you keep, that trust, you build it up gradually. Then don't break the connection. Keep talking. Once in a while, say hello. Once in a while, if they go and look for the person's LinkedIn, if he's on LinkedIn, and keep following the person. The time will come, you may need that person. You may need his help. Oh, you can't hear me, Emmanuel. Can anybody hear me? Hello? 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 Okay, fine. Thank you. All right. So maybe it's your end. Is it now? You will be asking me that in the class. So building a research network is what we're talking about here. Now, how to build a research network? I have 4 steps here I've listed. Attend conferences. And who has also talked about this? Attend conferences and workshops. You must be intentional about this. This is one thing that helped me in my research career. Attend these things. As I'm talking to you now, I have identified at least 5 conferences that I will attend between now and next year and the next 3 months. I have mentees across Nigeria. So even if I don't attend, I collaborate with other people. So like the other time, I saw a call for a conference happening in Enugu. I just related to one of my mentees there. I brought out one of my papers. I connected with her. I said, well, we'll do this together. You will do the presentation. I send the money. And she made the presentation. I have somebody in University of Cross River where I'm doing sabbatical. So as I'm in Port Harcourt now, I simply connected with him. Just on the 7th of December, we presented our paper. So in Niger Delta University, Bayelsa, and things like that. If I didn't make all of these connections before now, it would have been a problem. So learn to connect with people. This is a time where we need to work as a team. Stop writing papers alone. I know in some institutions they insist you must publish alone. I don't write because of promotion. I have over close to 250 publications to date. If you check all of those 250 publications, I'm not sure you see 10 that I wrote alone. I'm not sure. Maybe 2 or 3 or 4. I'm not sure. There's none. I have connections everywhere. Oh, this other person, can we do so and so things together? I always have topics that I want to work on. I always have something I have in mind I want to work on. So learn to work with people, learn to connect with people. You move faster if you connect with people. Look at it this way. If you have 3 colleagues and 3 of you are writing and working together. Now, if I have 3 persons, meaning that if we publish 3 papers in a year, each, 3, 3, 3, that would be 9 papers. Is it possible for you alone? If you alone will do that, you have to struggle. For me, it's a simple thing for me. I can publish 10 papers in a year. I can publish 20 papers in a year. It's something I'm used to. So it's not a problem for me. But what I'm saying is it will be easier for you to move faster if you connect with others. So attend conferences, make friends. Let your friendship cut across the nation, cut across the universe, cut across the region. Like now, normally, if you are an academic, your promotion should be gradual, your promotion should be geographic. I mean, your publication, sorry, you should publish every year. There should be no year you shouldn't publish a paper. There should be, as long as we're in Nigeria, we have 6 geopolitical zones. Your publication should cut across these areas. You cannot, I'm in South Nigeria here. It doesn't make any sense if all my publications are concentrated in journals in South Nigeria. It smacks of some level of unseriousness if you are not stretching your dragnet across beyond your region. So this is one thing you enjoy if you connect with people from other regions, especially when you attend conferences. Join professional organizations. This was why I had to show you a profile of my membership of different professional associations. I'm a member of the Nigerian National Association of Artificial Intelligence of Practitioners of Nigeria. That was formed early this year when we completed a 13 weeks intensive training on AI from the National Universities Commission. It was an extensive one. So we formed a national association, which we are also chartered members because that was the beginning point of this stuff. So membership in relevant professional association is very important for effective networking. Use social media. LinkedIn is very interesting. Twitter, which is now X, is very interesting. Instagram, all of these, use them to your advantage. One disadvantage we've had around the research landscape is the fact that our research works, we don't translate it to a point where those at the grassroots will appreciate it. Many of us do not know how to write policy briefs. This is one way that the non-scientific audience can appreciate what we write. We need to work on our use of social media to translate, to break our research into small, very small, break it into small bits for people to understand. There's a call I saw just recently. There's a 90-something page document, and they're looking for people that use infographics to translate that document in a way that the grassroots can appreciate it. It's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Then collaborate with others. We cannot overemphasize this. Now, tips for effective networking. You need to be proactive and engage in conversation. You need to be a good listener. Show interest in what other people are doing. That was why I got to know about Black Soda Fly. I just had it in person. During the COVID, I was looking for alternative ways to doing so many things. And I had to take a course in Togo. I took a course in Togo to give me a good grasp of what I wanted to do. And then I started researching on it. Then I presented about 2-3 papers on it at different conferences. The next thing I did, in February this year, I started the project. It cost me some money, but now it doesn't, it's just in 45 days, I'll produce that. They don't eat anything more than waste. How can they convert waste to economic environmental asset? And now I can talk a lot about it. I've trained so many people across Africa on the use of black soda fly as livestock feed and also to manage the environment. Be a good listener. Show interest in what other people are doing. So, and social media will help you do this a lot. Then follow up with your new contacts after meeting them. Like I said earlier, when you meet people, be in touch with them. You may need them someday. Even if you don't need them someday, you collaborate, keep collaborating. There are calls, there are opportunities, truly. There's so much online that you need to work. There's no day I do not get calls because I have a lot of organizations I connect to. I'm on a mailing list of so many organizations. I sit at the internet, I search for these things, and I connect with them. So many times I need people I need to collaborate with. Other people also need people they can trust and collaborate with. So as a researcher, keep looking for people, keep connecting with people so you can collaborate with them. Then build and maintain relationship over time. It's important. There are different funding opportunities, ranging from grants to fellowships and scholarships. So grants are monies that you get to do your research, which you don't pay back. But you see, you must have a reputation to get a grant. You don't need, if start small. Look, there are grants of $500. If you have never won a grant before, why are you looking for a grant of $100,000? When I'm not saying, I'm not discouraging you from doing that, but you see, you need to build a reputation before you get a big grant. You must build a reputation. The first grant I ever got was 100,000 from my former university in Futo, Owerri. Later, I now got a grant of $1,000 from the same university. Before I now, not from the university anyway, while I was still in that university. Now, it was a gender caucus from somewhere in Canada. I got that grant. Then by the time I moved into University of Port Harcourt, because of one network I belong to, I attended a workshop and there we built our reputations. We got a grant of 500,000 euro. And so on and so forth. You keep moving, you keep connecting with people. Oh, I have this skill. I have this competence. Those are the things you need to use in building up your reputation, that you can get a grant. Then there are fellowships, which are given to individual researchers based on academic merit and your research potential. You must build a brand. Look for small things that travel grant is also a grant. There's a WARIMA. WARIMA is West African Research and Innovation Management Association. It's based in the University of Ibadan. That's where they have their head office. Every year we have meetings in different West African countries. We are meeting in Togo next year. And most times there are travel grants opportunities. And their call came out since early part of this year. And then by this month now, they will start sending out for those who were successful. They give a grant to attend the conference, but you must have a paper to present. So if you don't have a paper to present, it may not be too possible. So you have fellowships that you can use in traveling to other countries. Like in my university, we partner with ACU and AAU and RUFORUM. ACU stands for Association of Commonwealth Universities in the UK. AAU is Association of African Universities in Ghana. RUFORUM is a regional forum for capacity building. It's based in Uganda. And the university pays $5,000 to that one in Uganda, and we pay 3,000 to the one in the UK and the one in Ghana. So that way, our staff and our PG students have opportunities to win grants when the calls come out. So you see, these are some, the university has to play its own part. There are also individual grants that have nothing to do with your institution. But you see, some of those grants are small grants, $1,000, $5,000, maybe $10,000. But you just keep trying, connect with people, look for mentors as a young researcher, look for mentors that we can work with. A mentor is not the one that will do the work for you. A mentor is the one that will show you how to connect you. Opportunities for conferences, for grant, I have mentors across the world. Now, also scholarships, which you can use in furthering your education. How do you find funding opportunities? From different government agencies like Federal Ministry of Agri, Federal Ministry of Environment, Federal Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Science and Education, TED Fund. These calls keep coming. Don't think that, oh, it's for special people. No, it's for everybody. Keep trying. Even if you fail the first time, try again. You know, don't give up. Don't give up. I have a young mentee, sorry now, who the first grant she ever got was 60,000 euro. She was hanging on to me until she got that thing. And I was so happy for her. Imagine, that was the very first grant. She had never gotten anyone before, but she had been trying. So the particular one, I was in a particular office anyway, so we were managing that grant. They needed a male and a female. So when we sent out the call, she was on me. Eventually, when she was selected, every step she needed to take, she would consult me. Every step, even when they finally invited her for an interactive session online for a 20-minute talk, she met me and we kept on talking until eventually she got it. And she was so excited. After getting that one, they gave her another one, 7,000 euro. At least for writing a good work. The first time they had to give her 7,000 euro to do an advocacy for them. So this is how these things work. You must start from somewhere. Start small. Don't go for a very big one if you cannot. Go for a big one but if you can afford it. If you have what it takes, go ahead. But see, there are smaller ones. Go for the low-hanging fruit. Then you can use those smaller ones to build your reputation to get a big one. But connect with people. See, they don't have to be people in your field. Like I said, the contemporary times is multidisciplinary. Now we have private and corporate foundations, like I had mentioned all of this before, ACU, AAU, and all of these organizations, depending on your field. I collaborate with people in the medical field. Now I'm a data scientist, I'm a data analyst. So I can work with anybody, whether it's in medical field, whether it's in engineering, not necessarily that I'm an agriculturalist. So I have all my certificates to prove my mettle. So I can collaborate. So get people who can, because in some other grants, you may not, if all of you are from one particular field, you may not get it. You need to get people from different fields to work with. Then the industry sponsors, where they seek opportunities from companies and industries that are interested in your kind of research. Now, like I told you, an organization just came to reach out to me recently. They need me to talk to them to help them, sorry, as they put it, their cassava facility. And I've been doing a lot on cassava for years. I do all of these things in my house. The cassava flour, it was here in my house. I fried the chin in my house. I fried the snacks. Then I do sensory tests with people. Then I put it on my Facebook. People now get interested. The plantain wine, I did it. My son can produce that with ease in my house here. Somebody came, I was in a World Intellectual Property meeting someday, and somebody was in that meeting from Ghana, and he wanted to collaborate so that we'll start a company together to produce plantain wine. Because all of these ideas, I just keep trying them. You don't know where these things will take you to. You must keep working. Someday you will get it. And then we also have university grants. Well, I know these days it's not so easy, but I tell you the truth. Outside the university, outside your environment, on the internet, there are 1,000,001 grants. Just keep connecting. Go online and search for grants. There's no magic about it. Just search. Just go to Google. Google is the easiest way to go and search for this stuff. Search for grants for Nigerians, grants for Africans, grants for early career researchers. You will see something. And then bookmark. And also has to be on their mailing list. So they'll be sending you their mails every time they have something. Then one thing, again, you must learn is writing a strong grant proposal. You must articulate your point very well. Develop your plan. Take courses. There are many courses online. These days, the courses are too many. Be deliberate. I still take courses. Since January, I started a master's program January this year. I started the BSc in data science September last year. When I saw another one in data science, a master's in data science in January, I quickly took it up. So every month we're taking one course. Very, very engaging course. And then now I have a master's degree in data science. But in between, I was still taking short courses. I just finished an 11 weeks course on grant writing. I got a certificate there as overall best student, for that matter. Before then, I had a 13 weeks course on AI. It wasn't easy. In fact, I went to take injection a few minutes ago. These things they tell on me anyway, but you see, I don't let anything stop me from getting what I want. I know how to balance my time between my work and also non-work activities. So you must also balance these things out so that you will not break down. Then learning how to present a budget is another critical thing that we must appreciate as researchers. There are different pockets of information that you must learn to get to note as a researcher. Please go online. There are courses on academic writing. There are courses on even the budget preparation. If you go to Author Aid is a platform that has over 14,000 researchers across the world. It's an online mentoring platform where you can meet people from different parts of the world, and then you can expose you to where you can even get online trainings to build your capacity. So learn to demonstrate the feasibility and potential impact of your research, and then write in very clear and concise and persuasive manner. These are skills that you must learn with time. You don't force it, so don't think it just happens. It doesn't just happen. You must take courses, learn the ropes so that you'll be a better researcher. Then publishing your research. It's important that you publish it because this is the only way to disseminate the knowledge that you have built up to a broader community. And it allows you to share your work so that you can get feedback. And please take criticisms with maturity. Some persons could be very rash. In fact, somebody could insult you that this work is rubbish. Just swallow it. Like the Yoruba say, the one who is looking for honey found under the rock does not mind the bluntness of the axe. Keep striking until you get it. Now, one other thing you must learn is choosing the right journal. Well, we have a lot of journals all over the place today, but select journals that are highly regarded in your field and have a suitable scope for your research. So look for journals that suit what you are writing. Consider the impact factor, the number of citations. If you go to Google Scholar, you can see all of this stuff. The readership, the acceptance rate. So you don't go and send a paper to a journal that is not accepted. Then read the guidelines so you can appreciate it. Then peer review. People in your field will normally review those papers because they will send your papers to send them for blind review, where they will not see your name and then they'll review your paper. Like I said, the reviewer could be objective, it could also be subjective, it doesn't matter. Just take it in good faith, whether it is good or bad. Take it in good faith, build on it. If it's not accepted, work on it and send it somewhere else again. Now, this feedback can help you improve your manuscript, and it can help you address whatever concern that are raised by the reviewers. Now, writing a high-quality research involves you following a logical process, like the IMRAT process: introduction, materials and methods, results, and discussion. That is another key thing you must appreciate. If you take courses in academic writing, you will see this clearly. So to write good quality papers, you must understand what it takes. In writing, sometimes you send your papers out and they tell you to go and consult an English speaker, a native speaker. It could be so annoying that you wrote in English and they are now saying you did not write it well. Take it in good faith, and then whatever it is, work on it. Now, proofread your manuscript very well. Don't be in a hurry. We have softwares like Grammarly, we have Quillbot that I can use in paraphrasing these days to check for errors. And then don't rely only on technology, also use your human technology. Now, the issue of ethics is critical, very, very important, because it helps you to appreciate integrity, honesty, and transparency. Because honesty in research is important. Integrity is also important, just like transparency. Your research should be as open as possible. You don't hide anything from the public, as long as it's supposed to be a public good. Then data privacy and security. We need to protect the confidentiality and security of research data. You must implement measures that can help you as a researcher to safeguard sensitive data from unauthorized access, use, or disclosure. Some journals will ask you to present what you have done. They want to see the raw data. Review paper and research paper. Okay, well, what I think you mean, the review paper is like an essay, an empirical paper, and a position paper. So the review paper you are talking about, you mean a position paper. You are trying to take a position. So it's an essay. You have a title, you have a topic. Somebody is asking, what is the difference between a review article and research paper in journal publication? So a review article is just like an essay, which we also call a position paper. The writer takes a position. So you have a topic, so it's not an empirical work where you have to administer questionnaire or where you have to work in the laboratory. It's what we also call the desk research. So you sit down, you do your literature search, you conduct search on the internet from your libraries and build on it. So look at conceptual framework, look at theoretical framework, certain theories around what you are writing. And at the end of the day, you take a position. The research paper is more of experimental. You may conduct an experiment and then follow the IMRAD, for instance, the introduction, materials and methods, results and discussion and all of that. But for the review article, it doesn't follow that method. So you don't have a section for findings, for results. You don't have results to present. Rather, you have a position to take. So that's why it's also called a position paper. All your research for a review article, all your documentation is done on your table. You simply search for information and build on what other people have done before and then take a position. So that's why it's also referred to as a position paper. Research paper is purely empirical, experimental. administering questionnaire if you are dealing with people, if you are dealing with non-humans, maybe livestock, rabbits, guinea pigs, or chemicals in the laboratory. You have a format for writing that. So that's the difference between that and the other one. So now for the data privacy and security, it's important if you are conducting human research to always get the consent of those you are conducting research from. We take these things for granted. For many international organizations that may want to publish your work, they may want to see whether you did that. Did you go through the research ethics committee of your institution? Mostly for empirical researches anyway, or the research articles. You must provide consent that this work you are doing, it is voluntary, and this is what I'm trying to do. We're not compelling you. You can pull back anytime you want to, and things like that. And when you carry out research, even if it's qualitative research, where individuals mention specific things, you need to anonymize the individual. So you hear somebody could say, Mr. A said, you don't bring the person's name, except if the person gave the consent that you can go ahead and use his name. But you don't do that. Even pictures these days, when you take pictures, you should let them know that you're going to publish this picture. But in our country, when you tell them so, they will ask you to pay money. So you may encrypt your data by using some keys, some passwords, passcodes to ensure that unauthorized users do not have access to them. So these are things as researchers we must get used to. So I've talked about informed consent. It requires that participants are fully informed about the research, the risks that are involved, the benefits that are involved, and they have a right to withdraw. When you are carrying out animal research or human subject research, you should also consider those situations where you must adhere to guidelines. I remember I attended a conference in Ghana. My colleague Yvette conducted a research with 114 rats. In fact, they almost shouted at her. How could you kill 114 rats? Animals also have rights. We have the institutional animal care and use committees. Even though in our environment, these things are not taken seriously. In developed climes, in fact, that's a serious issue with ethics. To kill 100 and something rats, you could also use the same, you could also do the same research with only 30 rats. There's a lot of ethical issues around destroying so many lives like that. We know that we eat animals, but you see, they also have their rights in the science landscape. Then there are institutional review boards in our institutions which we must go through. I know many persons don't care about these things, but see, in the 21st century, these are serious issues we must consider. Now, career development and success in research. We must balance our work life in research. Research is a demanding task, I tell you. I don't rest. As you are doing, my table is always littered. My table, my bed, everywhere. My study is littered with books. My wife has, when we started earlier, it wasn't easy, but now this is 20-something years of marriage, so she's used to it now. That's the life of a researcher. You have paper everywhere. When you're driving, when you're going to church, you're writing something, an idea comes, you really scribble it so I won't forget. So you must set boundaries between your work and personal life. There should be time for you to relax so that you not break down. These days, we hear people go to the office as they just collapse and die. I pray that will never happen to any one of us. So we must know. Many persons, like one researcher that is not hypertensive, you don't know how true that is. That is very difficult. So the issue is that you must balance it out. Prioritize your tasks. If you know your body is not carrying you, please relax. Nothing is worth your life. Manage your time well. It's good to take regular breaks. I've had issues with my neck, with my finger, with my leg. So these days, I must get up for a while, move around. I've suffered a lot of pains, serious nerve issues, because I sit down for long, either in the aircraft, 10 hours in the aircraft. Well, I don't think I travel by road that long these days, but most times 10 hours I'm in the air. I just came back from Madagascar. I went to Accra from Accra. I went to Abuja. Abuja was in Madagascar. That one is 10 hours by air, 2 hours by road. Then to and fro, that's how many hours? Then I'm back here sitting down. Jeez. Hello? Can you still hear me, please? Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so I'll soon round up. Now, in navigating the academic market, it's quite competitive these days. To even publish a paper is not easy. To get a grant is not easy. So, because it's a competitive world, you need to be up and doing. I tell you, don't bother that, oh, how do you get the money? My brothers, my sisters, online, there are opportunities that can give you so many things that you can use in doing. I've told you about travel grants. There are research grants. You can get them. There's no rocket science about it. Silently. And again, build your skills. I have my e-commerce platform now. So I do trainings online and people pay me from any part of the world. I took a course. I took a course on how to use those platforms. I paid for it. So you see, you must work to get something. Don't just think that you can get it just like that. But you must try, start from somewhere. Start from somewhere. But every time you want to get something, you must make a push. So effective navigation involves you identifying a particular position, preparing your application materials like your CV. You must get a good CV prepared. You must get a good, how to write a good cover letter. You want to apply for something, your cover letter may not be good enough. Your CV may not be good enough. In fact, there are courses on how to write good cover letters. There are courses on how to write good CVs, on how to write research statements, even interview skills, how to learn all of this stuff. Networking skills, there are courses on them. Take these courses. Do not take it for granted that, oh, you're already there, you're already there. Now, and you need to build your online presence. I think they have talked much about this. I don't want to talk much about it again. Build your online presence. It's important. Build your online presence. If you are not on Google Scholar, go to Google Scholar. Go to ResearchGate. Put your papers there so that others can see it. Connect with people. Get mentored. Have a mentor. And don't expect that your mentor will be doing your work. In fact, I was shocked when a mentee from one institution, because they connected him to me, he sent his data for me to analyze. And I said, this is not part of mentorship now. You should tell me what you want. I'll guide you, not for me to do your work. So please take note of that. In conclusion, what is it that sets you, the enterprising researcher, apart? You must be adaptable to change. Technologies are there. Embrace those evolving technologies, such as AI, big data. AI has come to stay. Learn to use it well. Learn to use it well so you can move on with your work. We just completed the research a few weeks ago. And then the consultant said somebody didn't write his own work well. I said, well, he didn't write it like my own. I said, do you know how many tools I use? I invest in tools. I invest in technologies. So I use a lot. So don't expect the person may not have the type of things I have. So don't expect him to do what I have done. So you must be an innovative thinker. You must be creative. Beyond just the academics, you could have a patent which can give you money. You could be a company. Like I told you of the person that wanted to collaborate with me from another country. So, but I had to go through the legal way. That's why it took so much time. Then learn to your findings. Now, the pathways to success leverage on technology, tools for data collection. I have a lot of softwares that I use. I learned how to use them. Most of these things I learned them online. I learned them. I've traveled to Ghana. I had to borrow 500,000 sometimes to travel to Ghana to go and learn how to use a particular software. You see, there are risks you must take, but they'll pay off at the end of the day. Engage in continuous learning, build strong networks, and seek opportunities for commercialization. You know, you can make money in research. Understand that. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello? All right. Mr. David, I'm done. I'm through. Yes, I'm done. I'm through already. Is it still there? Oh, okay, 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 okay. Wow. Sorry about that. Let's do that. I'm trying to do that. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, just sorry, I'm looking for your name. Oh. Just a minute. What's happening? Okay. Okay, so
Wow.
is it
Thank you
done?
very much, Prof. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
I've made you
sir.
host.
Thanks so much, sir. I hope we
I'm
are.
sorry. Sorry about
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks so much, sir. I
that.
hope we love that presentation.
Is that right?
It's a very impactful presentation. I contacted him, I think it was in November. I spoke to him and he told me that he still did some courses. I said, hey, I hope we are all motivated. 2025 is loaded though. I hope we are motivated. I'm so motivated. In fact, if you see my notes, I've written a lot down in my note that I have to accomplish these things in 2025. If he himself is still doing all these courses, then we don't have an excuse. We don't have the fact is that you can't say you are sleeping 10 hours, 8 hours a day. Because there is still enough time to sleep. This is the time that you should sleep 4, 5 hours and get yourself out there and work, learn skills and do a lot of things. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. And then some of the things I
Yeah,
highlighted
thank God.
that I learned tonight. Okay, I will quickly talk about them right now. Bro, please stay online, sir. One of them is connect with people.
Yeah, I'm here.
All the speakers have talked about that aspect. Connect with people. Okay. If you have to spend your money to go for a webinar, spend your money to go for a presentation, please do that. Do it intentionally. Be deliberate about it. That this year I must attend 4 conferences. Okay, I must attend 4 conferences. Be deliberate about your connections because in the world we are now, so many things hinge on that. So many things hinge on that place. It's very important. In fact, I don't even know how I got connected to Prof. I still don't know. I think maybe I did a free training or something. I don't know. I don't know, but it's amazing. I'm serious. It's amazing. The next one is have
Yeah,
a
it was a
mentor.
training. I joined your
So the training.
trainings.
Okay, okay, okay. The
I
next one
joined
is
one of your trainings.
oh, next one is have mentors. Okay, have people that will put you on your toes. People that will ask you, "What are you doing?" Okay, and thank you, sir, for that definition of mentorship. It's very important. Mentors are not people that will help you to do some things. You are not that will do it yourself. They will only pace you. You are not doing this right. Go and learn
Yeah.
this. I told some of my staff that they have to be present in this webinar because I want to motivate them. They have to be here in this webinar. Okay? Because I'm kind of their mentors. So please have mentors. It's very, very important. And then the next one I wrote that I said, develop yourself. Use your money to make money. Use your money to make money. The fact is that people are poor. Okay, but we are not one of them. Are you following me? You are not one of them.
Yeah,
If you are
I agree
going
with this.
to, if you are going to get richer, you have to spend money. to get richer. This webinar that we are
Mhm.
doing, let me just tell you something. I didn't plan to say, but I will say it. This webinar that we are doing now, I used my money to run ad for this webinar on Facebook and Instagram. I didn't ask, I just come on, maybe on the general page, people should post. But I use my personal money to fund ad. It's a free webinar. You understand? It's free. But I told my ad person, I have somebody running ad for me, my digital marketer. I said, take this money, serious money. I won't mention the costs. Run this webinar on Facebook, on Instagram. So you use your money to do what? And some of us saw it on Facebook, on Instagram, and you are here. So please be intentional about it. Register for training on grant writing, proposal writing, analysis, papers, just like what he has said. Register for it. Go online, ask people to train you. Okay. And sometimes I tell people that connect between that they should train you. I say you have to run after me for me to train you. I'm a very busy person. You have to chase me. As I'm chasing prof. People ahead of me that I'm chasing. You that you are coming, you also will chase me. We are chasing each other. You understand? So please, it's very important. Be intentional to develop yourself. I wrote that down. No one will do it for you. Please be intentional in developing yourself. If you want to translate from being in academic environment to a global level, to a global researcher, you have to be intentional about it. All the things that Prof have highlighted, please highlight them out to your note. Assuming I'm the one training you now, I'm your mentor. I will say that you should snap your note and send to me, but I'm not. So please, this video is being recorded. Maybe on Monday, I will drop it on the page. There's suppose that they're on the WhatsApp page, they're not here. I don't understand. You understand? I don't understand. Please, it's very, very important. Be intentional about developing yourself. 2025, I want to hear about us at the very serious places. In fact, as a matter, I told Prof to still stay here because as I'm talking to you now, Grace and Research Institute community will be launched this week or 2 weeks time. And Prof is going to be one of the stakeholders on that page, Grace and community. So all the opportunity that he's talking about, you'll be helping us to drop it on that Grace and community. Are you following me? Aha. All those opportunities, courses that you feel like people should take, and he saw it somewhere, it's going to help us drop it on that community. So that the community will help us to connect together. There will be a monthly webinar that will be going on that community so that we can always keep in touch and we can always increase our knowledge together. Okay. So it will be launched this week or next 2 weeks, but it's going to be launched. The Grace and community. Once the link's on the page, make sure you join that community. It's very, very important to do that. So Prof will be one of the stakeholders on that page. Okay. All right. So sir, is it possible for you to drop the lecture notes for me so that I can put it on the page and the link for people to connect with you, sir? I can also drop it on the page if it's possible, sir.
Yeah, I'll send it to you right away.
Okay, thank you very much. Others tried joining the course of the webinar, but could not. Thanks for the intention to share it. Okay, yeah, it's going to be shared. I think it's more of a network issue for people that they could not join the Zoom class. It should be a network issue because yeah, it's just a network issue. So tomorrow we are going to have the same session tomorrow. We are running up in the next few minutes. The same session tomorrow. We start by 6:30, and then maybe by 9, yeah, 9 we are going to round up. Please, everything that we are learning now, let's put action on them. Learning is not just hearing about it, that is not enough. If you don't go out, if you are not intentional in acting on them, I can tell you in 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time, in 1 month, you've forgotten. The motivation is no more there. And in 2025, we start rolling like that. In fact, from January 1, 2025 has started. 2025 has started. And I believe that it will be a great year for us as a researcher and data analyst. So thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much, Mr. Idowu. Thank you for tonight.
I've sent it.
Tomorrow. So tomorrow, we see tomorrow. And Prof will also be with us tomorrow. I hope we enjoy this class. I mean, this class is just amazing. I just have to tell him that time has gone. I'm sure you want to you want to continue. All right, so thank you, Prof. Sir. So see us tomorrow. So we can log out now. See us tomorrow. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.